you're going to need at least 18 to 20 colors of your cotton medium weight yarn per square. So basically I'm using 4 different colors per square. You can mix and match. I think that's the most fun part about this bag, is that you get to switch up your colors. I'm using Paintbox Cotton Aran Yarn and Lily's Sugar and Cream cotton yarn as well. And I'm also going to need 3 skeins of this Lily's Sugar and Cream cotton yarn in the color cream. And this is because this is what we're going to use to make the handles, the top of the bag, and you're going to outline every square in this cream color. So you're going to need quite a bit of it. And I find it very durable and strong, and I think it's a great yarn for a multi-purpose project like this. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, preferably sharp embroidery scissors, a yarn needle. I'm using the Clover Chibi Jumbo sized yarn needle, and a 5mm crochet hook. This is the Clover Amour from the Clover Amour set. It's very nice to use. I definitely recommend it. So you're going to need quite a bit of yarn. I used about 18 shades, all different varieties, but pretty much the same kind of stuff. So let's get going on how to make a granny square. I just finished making this square and it's looking really good. You know, I added the blue and I'm actually really liking this color combination. I think it's like very pastel. And so now we're going to weave in our ends. So let's take a look at this mess back here. Now, as you can see, you crocheted over a bunch of tails. So if you can find these tails, which aren't hard to find, you can snip them off. So like for the purple, see how it's underneath the pink? That means we yarned over it, so we can just snip that. For the pink, if it's under the yellow, we yarned over that. We crocheted over that. We can snip that. For the yellow, it's right next to the blue. And then for the blue, it's underneath the white. So this saves us some time in regards to weaving them in. Now I like to work from the center up until the edge. So we're gonna start with weaving these in. To do this, you're gonna take your yarn needle and kind of put it in between these stitches, right? And we're going to do this for 2 sides up until we get to here. I say 2 sides because, look, it's 1, 2. I don't know, that just makes sense to me. Then you can kind of, I'm not gonna lick my yarn because I'm filming this, but I'm going to thread it through here and just pull it through these two corners, these 2 sides, and just trim it. And the reason I'm doing this is because it really won't fall apart since it's already snug in there. You know, our circle's already closed if you've pulled it tight enough. It's all the way under there. I suppose if I had more yarn, I could probably go all the way around, but I just don't feel like doing that. So that's the center. Your center should be all ready. For pink, what I like to do with this is I like to find, so it should be at the end of a corner, right? And I like to find a V to snuggle to like wiggle my little yarn needle. See how it like makes a little V, sideways V? And then I'm going to go underneath this yellow segment to hide it. And I'm going to just thread it through. Just put it in there and pull. And there we go. It disappears. You went underneath there and through that yellow area. And I'm just going to trim that off. Next, for the yellow yarn, I'm going to do the same thing with the V. I'm going to find this V right here and then put it through these crochets here. I'm going to do it twice. See how I went through 2 different blue areas? And I'm going to thread my needle and pull through. And just trim it off there. I don't like making knots because it makes the back of it bulky. And if you yarn, you know, if you just weave it through, you really should have no problems with it coming undone, especially since they're all going to be sewn together. And in this case, the back is going to be cloth because of the lining of the tote bag. So for this, I'm just going to go under 3. I like to do that since, you know, we're at the last level. And then thread through and pull all the way and trim. And that's all the colors. Should be looking good. And then for the cream color, you're just going to find your V. And then after that, I honestly just go through a bunch of different ends. This probably isn't the best way to do it, but it works for me. So I'm just going to go through a bunch of random ends and take my yarn, just pull through. And you can just trim it off there. But the probability that it's gonna come all the way undone and then your whole purse is gonna be ruined is very unlikely. So unless you have a different way of weaving them in, by all means do so. But I find that this method works for me. However, for all granny square enthusiasts alike, I do recommend doing this last stitch to weave in this end. So to do that, you're going to take your yarn needle and find the stitch here. And you're going to go through the center of the stitch. If your needle has a curved end, that's, it helps. You're going to go through to the other stitch till you made a V. And you're just going to insert, have your yarn there and pull through. I call this the invisible stitch. It's not a mattress stitch, but it's a stitch where it's easy to weave in your ends from the top of your work. Because you work through the middle. And you're just going to do this for 4 or 5 stitches. You don't need to go all the way until the end, because by then it should be secure enough. So this is about 4, I think, and this will be 5. Okay, and you can just cut that off. And look, you don't even know it's there. And that's your granny square. So this is a super easy method of doing these. I love making granny squares. You're going to need to make, however, 27 squares, because you need 9 on both sides of the bag, 3 on each side and 3 on the bottom. So 9 times 3 is 27. You're going to need 27 squares. I've seen tutorials where they make the sides and the bottom of the bag a whole different color. You can totally go for that, or you can do it like me, and I'm just doing random colors. I'm using a ton of different colors. I think it's super fun to have a bunch of random ones thrown in there and play with fun color combos and all of that stuff. So you're just going to need to make 27 squares. I like to do 3 a day. I can finish the squares in 9 days and I don't have to rush myself. But if you want to get it done quicker, just, pace yourself, or do it all at once. It's up to you. But you're going to make 27 of these, and then I'm going to teach you how to stitch them together. So I'll meet you back when you're done. Okay, so 24 squares later, I'm pretty much done with the base of my bag. So what I've done here, which I'm going to teach you how to do, is I've made my 27 squares, but not only did I make them, I sewed them together in rows. So I have lots of fun colors going on here. I think it's coming out to look very nicely. Sorry, is that how you say it? It's coming out very nicely. Sorry. And what I've done is that I've mattress stitched these guys together. So if you can see here, I'm just gonna bring this one up here. You can't really see the yarn that I used. Now I didn't use like a bright colored yarn, but I did use this cream yarn to match. And I found that it worked very well in, joining these together. And I know I've used these to join granny squares before, and I know that it's very durable. And I also know that it looks very good. There's not like a huge gap in between each square, which is exactly what I was going for. And there's also not a ridge in between the square. So I love using the mattress stitch method to join these together. If you have another good way of joining granny squares, you can totally look that up and use that instead for this project. But what I'm going to teach you how to do is sew these together. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And I'm going to get my yarn needle. And I'm also going to get my cream yarn. I'm going to get about a 20-inch piece, something like that, because I'm going to use the mattress stitch to do this. So I'm going to take these two squares. Let's see, I want it like that, I think. Yeah, I think this looks nice. So I'm going to take it and start with these. So to begin, you're going to take your two squares on their pretty side and lay them like this. So, because we're gonna join it and then we're gonna like open it back up and then it'll be ready. So you're gonna join these together. Since it's the same amount of stitches, it should line up pretty well. You're going to thread your yarn needle a little bit. And then you're going to find the top loop of your your last double crochet in this stitch. So I'm just gonna pull through there and leave a tiny little tail. And then over here, I'm gonna find that same loop, and instead of going like this, I'm going to go up and around and through. Ooh, wrong stitch, this one here. Oh, don't go through that one. Go like this. And you should have like what looks like a little loop. And you're not gonna go through this next stitch, you're going to go around. And that's how you know you're doing it right. If you know you're doing it right, you're not gonna go just straight through. You're gonna do a little loop-de-loop. Go around and around. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Around and around. I might be a little off with the stitching. Actually, I probably am. Oh, actually, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I can't really tell. But just try to align it as much as possible so that when you you finish up with that, you'll be ready to go. Wait, did that make sense? Wait, it probably didn't. Okay, so what I meant is when you want them lined up because you want it to look like each of these. Put this over. You want to look like these are in the same position, because if it's a little off, it looks kind of awkward. So you just kind of want to make sure that it's aligned so that it'll look good. And just go over and over. over, and over. So I'm just gonna stop right here because I mean, you should probably get the gist of it right now. And I'm just gonna show you how this is gonna turn out, because if I stop right here, and I unfold it, just like pretend that's aligned, right? If you pull on both ends, you should see a line. Okay, I think I did this a little off, but kind of works. I don't know. But you should see that it becomes really tight, and that you can hardly see it, you know? And it's looking really durable. So just keep going with this. Just keep going out, out. Ooh, I keep hitting the camera. Out, out. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to stop here. And when I get to the end, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make a knot or anything yet. I'm just going to leave it. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I have so many more to go, and if I just stop and do little knots here and there, not only is it going to be like really knotted in each corner, but it's also going to be just not time, you know, I'm not going to have good time management in that sense. So I like to just kind of, you know, layer my work. So just try to get this stuff done. And what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 rows of 3. Okay? Because, you know, since everything's in rows of 3. After this, we're going to try to put them together. Now, my main advice for you when you're building your rows of 3 is to be careful with your color palette, because like I could have done this here, but the blue and the yellow would have been next to each other, and I don't really like how that looks. So I wanted a little something in between, and try to just do that in every row of 3. You know, you don't really want repeating colors. It's okay to have a few, like yellow and yellow. It's not that big of a deal. Pink and pink, you know, that doesn't bother me that much. But just do rows of stuff that ends up looking good, because in the end, it's all about, you know, the way that your granny square bag is gonna look. So just finish up sewing these together, and I'll meet you when you're done. Hello everyone, so we're back, and what I've done here is that I've created a very nice layout. It's been hard to find a good camera angle to show the whole map that I've pretty much just made, because what I've done is that I have all my rows sewed together with my mattress stitch that we were working on. And what I did is that I picked a pretty nice layout. So let me see if I can grab this camera and show you what I've done. Okay, so right here is one side of my bag. This is going to be, these 3 rows are one side of my bag. This is going to be the bottom, and over here is the other side. And these 2 are the sides of my bag. So if you're confused at how this is going to look, let me try to lock this camera in, sorry, my hand, for a minute. Okay, I think that's good. So pretty much what's gonna happen is that since I've already put these together in rows, and I've kind of laid out my design and how I want all my colors and stuff to go, I honestly think that the next part is that I'm going to work in sections. So this means I'm gonna kind of like separate my ends and stuff. I'm gonna kind of like make this its own thing so I know. And I'm going to attach these by rows. So I'm gonna go, sorry, it's shaking a little. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm probably gonna mattress stitch that whole thing together. So I'm gonna need a pretty long thing of yarn. And I'm gonna do the same over here. I'm just gonna attach that. So then I'll have this side, and then I'll do the same with that side. And then for the bottom and the sides and stuff, I think that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew the bottom to both of these once they're done. So I'm just gonna match or stitch this segment together because I feel like that needs to happen in order for me to have one side ready. So I'll meet up with you when I'm already done doing that. Okay, so I'm here to give you a little update on what I've been doing. So far, I've finished sewing together these two sides, and it's looking really nice. I haven't done anything with the ends. I've just kind of left them there, and I think I'm going to do something with them later. But after we finish all the sewing and all that stuff, because we're not really sewing, you know, we're using the yarn needle, but we're stitching them together. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my middle part. I forgot if this is the middle. No, this is the middle. No, yeah, sorry, this is the middle. And I'm going to match or stitch this side and this side, so it'll be one giant rectangle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of my side pieces and I'm going to attach them from the bottom, I believe. I think I'm going to just end up stitching them together at the bottom. And then I'll like bring it together and stitch these two corners, this corner, and then all four corners. So I think I'm going to start with that. I'm just going to sew both these sides, stitch both these sides together, and then this little area, and then I'll do the corners, and I'll meet up with you when my bag is ready. Okay, so I know I was gonna say I would show you when the base of our bag was ready, but I just decided that I needed to show you how to attach the sides real quick. So this is when you're gonna be using your stitch markers, because this is really helpful. So I have my giant rectangle, right? And so what I've done is that I've kind of folded it in half and crushed, I've taken my sides and I folded them in two on either side. So then I kind of put this on top. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take about 4 stitch markers on either side. And I'm going to put where I want to pin it. So I'm gonna begin by pinning one here. I kind of want one, because I wanna pin this to the bottom, you know? So I'm going to take this, kind of just mark where it's gonna be. It doesn't have to be exact or anything. We're just pinning these so that we know where to stitch, you know, just so they're in place while we're working on the other side. And then I'm going to kind of fold it, put this on top, and then pin one on the top corner here. Up here, and then over here on this other corner. Okay, and then what you should see is that, you know, all of this is gonna get clipped in and on the bottom too, and then you'll have a nice side to your bag. And you're gonna do this on the other side too. You're gonna take 4 stitch markers. I probably need to get more because it looks like I'm running out. And make sure you're matching up the bottom with the bottom. So you only want one side that's gonna be closed. And this is the bottom of our bag, so try to pin it there. Sorry, there are some dogs here. So, let's see. Just gonna try to pin this through. The stitch marker isn't great. Okay, and then this corner too. Okay, and then up here, just like we did the last one, you can just make room to attach them with the spaces. Okay. Pin it here and here. And what you'll see is that it should start looking like a tote bag, you know? Once everything's sewed in, it'll look so much better, I guarantee. But it's looking really good. The next step after you finish this is that you're going to work on crocheting a little bit of space above here so that we can start also working on our handles. And I'll teach you how to do that. So just after you mark your stitches, just use your yarn needle to do the mattress stitch all the way around. So you're going to need a pretty long piece of yarn. If you run out, you can always just leave a tail and cut it. And then same thing over here. And then I'll just teach you what to do with your ends, and then we'll work on the top. So meet you there. Oh my gosh, look at this. We're pretty much almost done with our bag. So what I've done is I did what I was going to do. I mattress stitched all the way around, following my stitch markers that I placed on both sides, making sure that the nice side is on the outside of our bag. And it's looking really nice. I'm really liking how it looks. It's a little big, it's a little heavy, but I think that once we add the cotton lining, it'll make it all much better, because then, you know, your stuff won't be going out of the holes, and, you know, we're gonna be all good to go. Now, you might see that you have a few mistakes. You might have like a few little imperfections on your work. Like, see here, this is a little uneven, so I'm gonna try to work that in. You can try to fix that with, I'm sure you could like iron some stuff on, or like spray some fabric starch and try to iron it in place. But if you don't mind, and it's kind of like the look you're going for, or if you don't even notice, then that's even better, you know? So just make sure that everything's good, you know, all your stitches are fine, and then we're gonna start weaving these bad boys in right now. So for this, you're just gonna need a yarn needle and your scissors. Actually, I was about to say you might not need your scissors, but you probably will. So, yeah, let's start weaving these in. To begin weaving in our ends, the first thing I'm gonna do is turn my bag inside out. So it's like this. And if you used a nice long tail while doing the mattress stitch along the sides, you should have some pretty long tails that we're gonna work on here. So you can pick a random corner to start, because that's what I'm gonna do. And if you have any on the other side, just poke them through. Just kind of like make sure they're on the other side of your corner. And in this case, I'm just gonna do like when I'm tying my shoes, I'm just gonna do like a little knot. I'm gonna do that again. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim. Notice I'm not trimming right to the end. This is just because when I attach the fabric, I want it to be like a little loose. You know, nothing needs to be perfect here. Imperfection is the key to this project. So at each corner you should have it about 2 strands. Some might be shorter and longer than others. That's perfectly normal. So just do, the first one might be a little loose, that's okay. Second one should be nice and tight. Just pull through, pull nice and tight, and you should be good to go. And then cut a little bit. You're gonna have probably a ton of scrap yarn, which is great because you can recycle it, use it again, reuse, reduce, recycle. I'm just trying to poke this yarn to this side. And so you should be able to, you can use it as stuffing, you can use it just, you can just throw it away. It's up to you. So look, I just tied that off and we're gonna trim it up. So you're gonna do this for the center of every square we got going on here, especially along the sides and stuff, as long as there's another end on the other side, or as long as there's 2 ends in every intersection. That's what I meant to say. And if you need help going through, you can by all means use your yarn needle to help you do that, to get to the other side. Or you could just poke it through a random hole, like what I'm doing. Just very tight. Trim. So I'm just gonna stop here so I don't take up too much time by doing this, but just make sure you're using the back side of your bag and just pull through and make little knots with each of your stitches. And I'll be back when we have more to go. So I just came upon a little hole. I'm still doing this whole little knot thing. And I saw this little questionable thing. So I wanted to show you that if you wanted to, you could take your yarn needle and just go through a few stitches, close that hole up, just go, oops, sorry, just go through it a little bit, and there you go. You can just knot it after that. So you can also do it 3 times if you want, because I've noticed that I've had to do that a couple times because it just doesn't feel like the second time is knotted enough. So anyways, I'm just gonna continue doing this, and yeah. Okay, so we have done our 3 rows of single crochet. Now it's looking a little loose. I'm hoping that when we add the fabric it'll be better, more structured. But right now I'm really liking the look of this 3 rows of single crochet. If you want, you can add a row of slip stitch or a few more rows of single crochet. It's all the way up to you. I don't know, I said all the way up to you, but it's up to you. I think I like how this looks, and I'm just gonna leave it like this. So I'm gonna cut off my yarn. If you went over some of your tails, then you can also trim those, which I'm gonna do right here. The likeliness of these coming off, very unlikely. So just trim it. You could do little knots if you want, if you think it might come out. Just gonna do this. It's looking good to me. So I'm just also I'm gonna leave this here until the end. So I'm gonna put this aside and I'm gonna grab my yarn. I think I'm gonna need to get some more because I don't think this is gonna be enough for the straps. So for the straps pattern, I'm gonna take my same crochet hook that I was using. Where did it go? Is it in here? Yeah. So I'm gonna start by, I'm going to chain 106, and this is because if I do 107, it will, I mean, if I do 105, then I'll basically have 104. So I've measured this out, and this is actually going to be a great size strap. I'm going to make 2 of these, by the way. And I'm going to chain 106. Once I'm finished in the second chain from my hook, I'm going to do a single crochet, and then single crochet all the way across, chain 1, turn my work, and then do another row of single crochets. And in total, I'm going to have 6 rows of single crochets. I think this ends up for a nice wide strap, but not too wide, just the perfect size. You can add some more. You can make your, if you think that the straps are going to be too long, you could do a few less chains. You could do. I love this pattern because it's so customizable. It's so unique. Like, you can totally make it your own. And if you didn't want to use cream yarn, you could use black yarn. I just love the versatility, I think. The versatility of this bag. So I'm just going to chain 106 and then do my 6 rows of single crochet, and I'll meet up with you when I'm finished. Hi everyone, sorry it's been a while. I just wanted to show you what I ended up doing with the bag, since I know I didn't really show you what to do as far as the lining and the handles go for attaching them. So what I did for the lining is I pretty much cut out two pieces of unbleached muslin cotton that were about the size of the main sides, you know. I measured it out, and I did 2 of those, and then I did 2 panels that were the length of the bottom and the side. So I did 1 long strip that went like that, and then I did the other one as well. So it ended up doubling up on the bottom, which I figured would give it nice, some nice durability. In between those 2 layers, while I was sewing, I inserted a plastic, I don't really know how to explain it, a plastic sheet that I figured would give it some durability on the bottom. So I put that in between there, and I think it also holds its shape really nicely. When I throw stuff in there, I've been using it for a while. When I throw stuff in there, it really holds so it doesn't break or anything, and I think that's really nice. I feel like it's really soft. It works really well. The straps, as you can see, I just attached it here. I sewed it with the sewing machine onto the edges. The sewing is from sewing the actual lining. I hand sewed the top, this whole top area. And then, as you can see, my handles are made up of 6 rows of single crochet. So I think that overall it turned out really nice. I'm really proud of my bag, and I hope that this tutorial helped you. I know it's not super detailed, but I tried my best on covering pretty much everything, just the basic overview of how to make this bag. So thanks so much for watching, and see you later.